We just wanted to know how valuable you think this may be to build this in a place like Pender Harbour, and what you might be able to do there with the facilities that we're going to be offering, and the conference centre, the labs, and just generally, what your thoughts are on this idea.
Well, I mean, you got probably one of the most spectacular water environment anywhere near a very big city.
Yeah.
And I think this would be a fabulous opportunity, because you can engage the students to actually use the outdoors as a laboratory.
Yeah.
Which is very rare to do, because if you want to do it on Vancouver Island, it's going to take you huge amounts of resources and money just to get to the area and back, right?
Yeah, yeah.
This way, within a half an hour, you're over there.
Yeah.
And you can start doing long-term monitoring, which is lacking everywhere.
Yeah.
And then the other problem we have, of course, we have so few of marine protected areas.
Yeah.
And here's an opportunity to actually put some research into how can we protect some of these endangered species along the coast, where we still have an option to do it.
Yeah.
In many other places we don't have that option anymore, right? Well, the other advantage you have, you can actually start looking at freshwater, saltwater interactions.
Absolutely.
Because, where can you do this where the environment is still relatively intact?
Yeah.
Almost everywhere else you go, you have to start rehabilitating. Here you can actually see what's happening in nature.
Yeah.
And the area is going to be subjected to very rapid climate variability.
Mm-hmm.
And there's another opportunity there which has never been done before.
Yeah.
Taking a natural environment and see how it is changing as a result of climate change. The intriguing thing to me is you've got a snow-covered environment which supplies the fresh water during the summer.
Yeah.
And this is going to change incredibly fast. All the models are telling us that the Sunshine Coast is actually going to be much more sensitive to this than most other areas.
Really? Wow.
And as a result of it, you've got a fabulous opportunity to see how nature is actually coping, how it's adjusting, and what we can actually learn and how we should actually do that. The biggest issue in mountains right now is the vegetation is moving up.
Mm-hmm.
And now the big debate is, should we help this or should we let nature do it?
Yeah.
And if we help it, we might screw up big times, right?
Yeah. So it seems to me there's been a kind of brain drain with the DFO, and with, a lot of very experienced people have been lost from, government jobs. And there's a real gap in what's we feel like we've lost a lot. And in Madeira Park, there used to be 7 DFO officers, and there are now none at all. So do you think that's something that we can we in some way, at least in the sort of short term, fill that gap by doing citizen science and encouraging that from PODS? Do you think
remember, we have a lot of retired people who are very knowledgeable.
Yes.
And they get bored playing golf 5 days a week. Yes. And if you can entice them to do a little bit of work with young people, that's the best recipe.
We get parents saying, after we've kind of mentored them a bit and done work with them, and they say, "What did you do to my son? he does the washing up now," and things like that. It's just amazing how it's changed. Yeah. And people, and we've seen people kind of grow up through the community. And like one of the girls who used to be at our the Goonies Club is now a teacher at the high school, and she teaches biology. So,
well, my daughter in the second year of high school did this outdoor program, which means you do the academics in half of the term, and then the other term is outdoor stuff.
Right.
And they did all kinds of outdoor work, canoeing.
Yep.
They went to Manning Park in the winter overnight, survival stuff and so on. Yeah. And if you talk to her, she said that was probably one of her most valuable experiences. Yeah. Yeah. And it's so close to the city. And I know you've got lots of good camping areas where
summer
is busy with with young people, right?
Yeah, definitely. And I think that's and it's this idea that we're able to keep some of the children on the coast instead of losing them to the big city.
And if you do have a center, you can
Yeah.
start some long-term
Yeah.
monitoring and long-term assessment, which is lacking.
Yeah.
I mean, in BC, we virtually have no long-term monitoring, and we have now no capacity actually to enforce anything, right?
So you think PODS is a good idea?
Well, yeah, if you can get all the resources.
But I just want to go back to what you were saying before about, because I know you've done a lot of work on Chapman Creek and that whole system, and about why it is that it's a particularly sensitive area and a good area to study with regards to climate change. What makes it different?
Well, first of all, a lot of it is bedrock, granitic
Right.
bedrock. So
Right.
you've got very little soil.
Yeah.
And so the water holding capacity is limited.
Yeah.
So the snow is really key to hold the water back.
Right.
And some of the studies we did show that there's very little groundwater because
Right.
there's not enough.
Right.
So in terms of the water cycle, it's probably going to be one of the more sensitive areas.
Right. I've got you.
So we'll probably get the same amount of precipitation, but it's in rain.
Right.
And if it's in rain, that means it's running off faster.
Running off faster, yeah.
And then you've got to get longer summer drought.
Yeah.
So the snow is melting earlier, and then
Yeah.
longer summer drought.
And that will affect the salmon
That's right.
coming in.
And the winter are going to get warmer,
Mhm.
so it's not going to be very
Right.
much snow.
Right.
And then, of course, the temperatures, the water temperatures in the summer will go very, very, very much higher,
Yeah.
which will change the whole aquatic organisms.
Yeah.
So I would think from a climate point of view, this would be a fabulous laboratory because it's
Well-
one which is changing the fastest.
Yeah, well, that's what we're thinking, because there's definitely some very odd things going on, but no one really knows what is going on. I mean, there are things happening all the time,
Yeah.
and they're big things, and it's just no one knows how big, or
Yeah.
there's nothing to compare them with, and then there's no research going on about why it's happening.
Well, I'll give
So-
you an example. In 2012, they almost ran out of water.
Yeah, they did.
But they only almost ran out of water in August, September, and October.
Yeah,
In 2015, it was the opposite.
yeah,
They had a very dry April,
That's right,
May, and
very
June,
hot,
and
yeah.
if it wouldn't have rained in August, so you see already that shift, right?
yeah.
Depending on the year,
Yeah.
so it's incredibly sensitive.
Yeah. And this was the hottest year, or is
That's the
going to
warmest,
be?
yeah.
Ever?
I have the whole data. It was clearly the warmest year since record begun.
Right.
Unfortunately, the records aren't very long.
Right.
You know, they started right in 1950.
Yeah.
But nevertheless,
so,
this was the driest summer we've had.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
we just finished a study in the Columbia Basin.
Yeah.
And we had 14 communities committing themselves to a 20% reduction in water consumption over 7 years.
Right. Yeah.
And half of the communities over the 7 years experienced 2 of the wettest and 1 of the driest year in 100 years.
Wow.
So
Yeah. So.
things are happening, right?
Yeah.
And people are still denying that it's happening. So I think from a water point of view, this would be a really good area to
Yeah.
start.
Brilliant. Well, that's.
You know, you want to show the sensitive environments, not the ones which are changing over long term.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Well, that's really a good. I can see now exactly why that is, and that's just another reason why we need pods. So there we go.
And remember, we made a big mistake.
Yeah.
We told everybody the average temperature is going to increase 2 or 3 degrees.
Yeah.
And that's absolutely not interesting because
Mhm.
if you walk from here over there and it's 2 degrees difference, you won't even notice it.
Yeah. No. Exactly.
But what we should have told them, it's going to get more variable.
Yeah.
We're going to have more extremes,
Yes.
more hot, more dry,
Yeah.
cold, more wet,
Yeah.
and more dry.
And it's not going to be like consistent
right.
from one year to the next. It could be the complete opposite.
Yeah.
It's all about uncertainty. It seems to me. It's
Yeah.
like times are more and more uncertain, and I think what we're trying to do is actually kind of get some facts back that we can like look at,
Yeah.
and just get a sense of where we stand. You know,
Yeah.
that's what it seems like to me.
And you know,
Yeah.
we need to really work on innovation. You're in
Yeah.
the forefront with the wetland innovation, right?
Yeah.
If you look at urbanization, we need to shift very quickly.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
sea level rises, flooding,
Yeah.
pollution, everything
Yeah.
is happening.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm. You know, it's great talking to you, and thank you so much because
Hey, that's
this has been
nothing.